Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you from wherever you are watching us from. You are welcome to today's episode of the HR Digest. Right, we'll be diving into the conversation. In this episode, we are sharing insights from the just ended HR conference. Right, wherever you are watching us from, just put that in the comment section and I would read that to our viewers wherever you are watching us from. You can also share with us your expectations about today's episode. Okay, so we are moving right into the conversation for today. Make sure you are sharing the link on every platform to have others join us and also get to have these insights that will be shared by our participants. So I have two amazing participants who will be joining me here. Let your comments come in, your name and where you are watching us from. Let those start coming in and keep sharing the link on every platform to have others join us. Right. So I would have my two amazing participants join me now so that we can dive into the conversation. It's going to be very insightful and engaging. Amazing women. I'm so glad to have you on today's episode. Right. So let's just have a brief introduction so that everyone gets to know you. So, Madam Christiana, okay, I'm sticking to Joshua Mortalty's principle of calling you by your first name. So, Christiana, I think you would start briefly your name and what you do, and then we'll have Jessica also do the same.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sedat Consults and all the team. My name is Christiana 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 also an HR professional, a senior HR professional international. Basically, what we do, we're into lending. We lend. For the past 15 years, that is what we've been doing. This is a
Right.
brief, this is brief about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that brief introduction. All right, Jessica, let's have yours. Okay, Jessica, we cannot hear you, so probably your mic is muted. While Jessica unmutes, I seen someone in the comment section. Afia says, I can't wait to hear from Madam Christie. Her impact is always great. Wow. Madam Christie, I can't wait to hear from you either. My
Yeah.
notepad is ready to, write some of the thoughts that you would be sharing. All right,
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, are we sorted now? We still cannot hear you. Madam Christina, can you hear Jessica?
Oh, no, not really. Not really.
Okay. So let's just, maybe you should rejoin and let's see how that goes. Right.
Sure.
So we still have a few comments. We'll take those comments as Jessica logs out and logs in. Right. Thank you, Afia, for that comment. Okay, so let's keep sharing the link on our platforms to ensure that others join us. As Afia said, she can't wait to hear Madam Christiana. And I'm sure a lot of other people would want to hear Madam Christiana and Madam Jessica. So let's share the link on our platforms to get others join us for this insightful session. Right, Jessica? Wow, we still
Oh,
cannot hear you.
really?
Amazing. So would
I think she's back.
okay.
Oh, no.
Hi,
It's come.
Jessica. Maybe you might want to switch. your device. You might want to switch the device. I see Ishmael. Okay, Ishmael, we are working on the sound. Welcome, Ishmael. I think there's a slight network issue because initially we could hear Madam Jessica very clearly,
Can
Yeah.
you
and
hear me
that is
now?
being resolved.
Okay. Let me log out of
Right,
this.
we can hear you now.
Okay. A moment. You can see me as well. Everything is
Yes, we
okay.
can see you and hear you. Ishmael, I hope you can hear us clearly now.
I can hear you clearly.
Right. So let's
Okay.
have the comments coming in. What are your expectations for this particular episode? What are you expecting from our participants who are speaking to us today? You can share that in the comment section. Right. Thank you, Ishmael, for the feedback. Okay, so let's go right into the conversation. Okay, Jessica, you have to give us a mini introduction of who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Jessica Yamutili Tete. I am the Human Resource Manager at the Sanctuary Montessori. Sanctuary Montessori is a school. We run the GES and British Cambridge curriculum. So that's basically it. Yeah, so we can start.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, we can start. Right. So first of all, I want to have your thoughts on the theme for this year's conference. What was your impression when you saw the theme from policy to practice? What thoughts were running through your mind when you saw that? Let's have Madam Christiana start with us, and then we move on.
Right. Thank you.
Thank
Before we
you.
run into the thoughts of the topic, I first of all want to appreciate Sadat's consorts for this innovative way of reaching out to their participants. A lot of people might not have opportunity to attend this conference, but I think this is a new dimension you are using, and people are really going to have they're going to learn from what has happened there, even though they might not get a full flesh of everything. At least a summary of it, like you have gathered us to share with them, is going to be fantastic. So, CEO
Right.
and team, kudos to you. We're very grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you.
All right. The topic, the topic from policy to practice is great. I must say that it's chosen rightly and at the right time. And most importantly, the facilitators, their experiences, their what they have done so far situates so well in the topic. And it has really, they have left us with nothing but a memory that will go a long way to feed our organization, staff, employees, and all people that are going to listen to us. In fact, it's great. It was a great one that we had at Takoradi with a topic from policy to practice. You will be thinking that from policy to practice, I was looking at a point where we are going to have practical aspects of
Right.
policy, but I think exactly what the facilitators have done. They have actually walked us through not to keep the policies on the shelves, but to ensure that they become practicable in our various offices. And this will not be done by any other person, but the HR people that are the business partners of all organizations. So the topic is great. It actually dealt well with us. I actually enjoyed being at in person to network and also experience and take a lot of lessons that will impact my organization.
Right. Thank you. You heard Madam Christiana. She emphasized on in person. If you are an online participant, maybe next time you should try to be on site. There's, a bit of the networking aspect that you have more advantage to when you are on site, right? So, Jessica, let's head into the insights, the thoughts from the conference, some of the key notes that you picked from the conference.
Okay, so for me, one of the things that jumped at me was the fact that employee wellness is not an add-on. It's
Mm,
it's it needs to be prioritized.
yeah,
And from my background, where I'm coming from, you know how Kwame made us look at on the scale of 0 to this, where are
yeah,
you? I thought that we have a lot to cover. Let me put it that way. We have a lot to cover. So that was it for me. The fact that it needs to be prioritized. It also um, gave me a very broad perspective of what employee wellness is. When I was invited for the program, I was discussing it with my boss, and I was thinking, oh, what could possibly be learned on this topic, like employee wellness?
right,
And rather encouraged me and said, just go and listen. You never know. And in fact, I was very glad I came because all the aspects, all the broad aspects of employee wellness came to bear. The fact that you need to be mentally sound, financially, spiritually. It was insightful. So those were my take homes. Yeah.
well, thank you for that. Madam Christiana, could you also share some of your takeaways from the conference?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Then some of the takeaways, I actually picked one that was so great to me. That's a 360 approach
Yeah,
of employee well-being. I mean, the keynote speaker and Kwamina actually dealt with that topic very well. So the 360 approach of employee well-being from the conference, I have learned that you're not only looking at the financial aspect where we talk about how much to pay, the benefits, the bonuses, and all that, but it should be a holistic 360 approach of
right,
the human that you are handling. With that, you get them give you the best of theirs. They actually take the work as though it's for them,
mm,
and that is what they spoke about, like that apart from the financial aspect, you should also be looking at the physical, the social, the culture, the mental aspect of the, it means that the human entirety, you couldn't be living at some, but make sure that you have 360 approach to the
right,
human nature. That was a big deal for me.
yeah,
And the next one I picked got to do with Kwame. Is he Afre?
Kwame
Yeah,
Afresh, yes.
he actually brought me to book, and I really, really enjoyed his session. Apart from the practical mathematics and also using meta to let us go through that process, he realized that he left a very indelible mark that I I keep thinking about it. This man has actually brought me to book. And what is that one? He spoke about the employee voice and engagement,
Mm,
that the employee voice and engagement is very crucial. If you want your strategy to work, where you focus, the first one to look at should be the talent, and that talent should be the employee. You know, organizations should be looking at the strategy. What is the strategy? We are following the processes of the strategy. But
right,
Kwame actually brought to my attention that the first thing to look at got to do with the talents. You have to look at the talent. Then the second focus should be the strategy. Then you look at the operations and that of the improvement. These four key things he has and very, very impactful. Why? I in doing my SPHR course to attain the certification, one of my lectures, Dr. Jeff Bassi, Dr. Jabasi will always tell you that if you actually want to examine the success of an organization, there are three areas to look at. That is employee engagement. So this situates so well with what Kwame told us, that you
Yeah.
first have to be looking at the talent before you consider the strategy and operations and that of the improvement. These two things actually did the magic for me. And 2025 Sedat HR conference is the best.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's move into the speakers. Which of the speakers could you resonate with the most? Which of the speakers were your favorites? Let me put it that way. I know all the speakers did excellently, but which of these speakers could you really resonate with?
Okay.
Madam
So
Jessica, I think you'd go with that.
sorry. Um
Jessica,
Jessica?
yes.
Okay. For me, it's Kwame. Kwame and Kwame, because Kwame gave us what to tell our bosses when we go back. You know,
Mhm.
Christiana is a boss herself, so she understands. He focused on the ROI, like your boss wants to know what is in this for me, and Kwame gave us that message to take home to our bosses, that look, when you have an employee, or when you have an employee workforce with the right well-being or the right atmosphere, your productivity is guaranteed. If you are looking at profits, invest in the welfare of your employees and you get it. So for me, it was Kwame. And
Kwame.
Josh also gave us the practical aspect of it. So something as little as change, let everyone call each other by our first names to break down the barriers, and then let's all wear the same uniform so that we all like look like we're on the same level. it
Exactly.
it gets you thinking that, oh, employee well-being is not all about the money. You can actually
Right.
be creative about it. Think about where to start from. It's not all about, okay, let's sign on a health insurance, let's do this,
Right.
everything has to do with money, money, money. But the little things like, okay, let's have a let's have a room for nursing mothers. Let's have, like, it's so well thought through. So
Yeah.
I'll go with Kwame and George. But
Yes.
Emmeline too brought some, he brought some punch home, how she got us focusing on empathy and self-awareness, and that
Right.
also comes with emotional intelligence. And when you are not well yourself, like she said, you cannot make others better. So
Right.
these three people, I think three people did it for me. Yeah.
Right.
In
Madam
summary,
Christiana.
like,
I keep saying Madam. Hmm.
Say
Christiana,
Christy
please.
and be fine.
It's quite difficult.
No, it shouldn't be. I had opportunity to practice this, and currently I'm doing it in my organization. So,
wow,
when we get new staff and or during the orientation and onboarding stage, and they get to my office and the HR says that, so her name is Christy. The new staff is like, hey, how?
What's going on? What's
I'm
going
like,
on here?
I'm like, cool down. At that microcredit limited, we all one. And so
Wow.
we call by first name. So just be fine. But our culture sometimes doesn't permit us. So I can relate with you so well. Supernatural, why you are struggling. But I think that I have practiced it for some time, and
Right.
it's now sticking with me in a way. So even myself, sometimes they can forget, said, Edie, because you are the executive director, the person wants to call you Edie. Instead of mentioning, I say, hey, you've gotten it wrong. Kindly say Christy.
Wow.
And sometimes it's so difficult to do that. But I think that it has helped me.
Mm.
It makes even the cleaner, because he can mention you by your first name, it brings them so close to you that they are able
Right.
to discuss issues with you, and you are able
Mm.
to help them with, because we are talking about integrating employee well-being in our workplaces. So
Right.
this one is a magic. If everyone can try it, you see that it has worked for me, and I'm sure it will work for you. So you're getting out of your car, you can get the office assistant to walk to you. Hey, madam, today you're looking so, sorry. You can say, Christy, today you're looking so good. I say, oh yeah, I'm learning from you. It looks a bit odd, but that is how it is. So the person
Yeah.
is able to share with you. You are able to spot out that this person has a challenge. So you're able to bring him closer, and the person tells you, oh, today I had a bad time at home and I'm trying to put myself together. So then you advise the one what to do. So it's a good one. Supernatural, we all get acquainted with it. So
Yes, please.
when I heard it, I said, wow, it's a great one and it's working for me. Now, you asked who is the, in fact, I must say that, like I mentioned in my intro, all the facilitators were amazing.
Yeah.
Their delivery was very impactful. A lot I have jotted down. I'm like, oh, I would have really not dealt well with myself if I hadn't attended this. And you know one secret,
Right.
I wasn't too well, and doctor was
Oh.
like, you have to take 5 days rest. So I decided to leave Accra, go to Takoradi, and go and take. So when I saw it, I said, who? I'm going to attend this conference. Why am I saying who I'm going to attend the conference? Last year, somewhere last year, I attended the training with Sedat Consults on the topic performance management. And I think Pat and 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬 did fantastically. They did
Wow.
an awesome job. They actually helped me to implement that in my organization. So
Wow.
having chanced on this, I said, "Oh, I'm going to steal the doctors one day so that I can sneak in there and grab another thing for myself." And I don't regret it at
Awesome.
I so these things are very inspiring, and I want to tell someone out there to make a book a date so that the next time they can attend.
Yeah.
Kwame, Afre, all of them have done well, but this man did so well. You know one thing, when we got to that point where the meta question, the last two questions, where employers like me are thinking that the employees know that we have empathy for them, and the answers in the room. I was like, hey, what is happening here? In fact, so the man is so amazing. It's so amazing. And he actually brought a book, and for us to know as employers to know that, hey, not all that you are thinking is exactly what is on the ground, but you should find a way to get the other side of the story and know how to address it. So those two questions, we have gone through quite a number of questions, but the last two questions actually did the magic, because in the room, the in-person, that is why I emphasize that the in-person, you should make it a point to come in person during the conference.
Right.
The
I
in-person, sorry, Jessica,
I agree.
you
I
share with
agree.
me.
Yes.
Thank you. In the room there, we have employers, we have employees. Then we
Right.
also have people who are actually not HR people, but the two answers were reverse of the other. And for me, where I sit, I have learned a lot from it and putting things in place to ensure that we address those issues. What can we do to ensure that our employees know that we have empathy for them, and how can they also know that that actually works, and that is where we sit? Let's not forget about the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. The Employee Assistance Program, as mentioned and explained at the conference, is also another great one. You see, HR, where we sit, because we are all human, Not everyone is able to tell us what their issues are. Because maybe tomorrow, you see, I'm the same person who will hire you. And when the difficult aspect I always say is when you have to fire someone, you have to terminate that appointment. Meanwhile, you welcome the person with all the smile, with all the energy, the love, and inducted the one in. Then we come to that point where you have to terminate the appointment. It's something else. So you have to also issue a sanction, dismissal, and all those things. So it's a blend and a mix of something else. But with the Employee Assistance Program, the EAP, as mentioned at the conference and explained to us, it means that when you have the psychology on board, the person can speak to, maybe you have marital issues, the boyfriend is having issue, the child or something. Some people can just go off sometimes like that. But when they know that they have a third party who might not discuss what they have discussed with them with the organization or HR, they have the freedom to speak and they are advised. And that gives us a lot of productivity because Kwame have made us know that labor productivity labor productivity leads us to the growth of our organizations. So it means that how well the employee is or the staff is doing shows how productive the organization will be. I mentioned Jebasi's 3 stages. I mentioned only one, that is the employee engagement. But the second one he spoke about got to do with satisfaction. When you recruit the right person, be sure that that person is satisfied because he's situated and placed in the role that the one is happy to perform. And what will it lead to? It will lead to our cash flow growth, an increase in our cash flow. So
Right.
it relates so well that we need to integrate our employee well-being into the workplace and be intentional, prioritize
Right.
them, and monitor for it to work for the productivity of the organization.
Right. Thank you, Madam Christiana. We
Work-life
need to
balance.
be intentional.
Work-life balance. We took that one as well. The
Right.
work-life
So
balance.
you've already shared the thoughts, the key notes from the conference, but I want to know that one statement during the conference where you felt like, I'm glad I actually registered and I'm glad I am here. That one statement, boom. And you were like, I'm glad I came.
Jessica,
Jessica, would you go with that?
Okay, I think I have already mentioned it. It was when um I think Ian, was it Ian who mentioned it, that it's not an add-on, it's a priority. and
Yes.
and he sort of explained why that is a priority, and all the others came to justify why that is a priority. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I came. Because
Right.
for me, I think we'll go on to some of the initiatives we have sort of brainstormed to implement in our establishments,
Organization. Yeah.
because we attended this program. And I think that is the value of the aha moment. Like, whoa, this
Yeah.
is stop this negative vibe. Oh, this is what is going to increase our productivity. Oh, this would really get the staff happy about it. So when we get there, to I will share a few things here.
Right. You've led
So
us
yeah.
to that moment. So Madam Christiana will start with us.
So should I
Some of,
share
some of
or
the
have to,
initiatives.
pardon?
Madam Christiana will start with us on some of the initiatives that.
moments, then we can start with the initiatives. I
Okay,
think I
okay.
said it already, but I want to mention that where I sit as an employer, seriously, what actually make the aha moments for me got to do with where Kwame mentioned that employers should stop looking at strategy to be the first thing and look at the
Exactly.
talent.
The talent.
The talents. When you get the right talent, that talent will ensure that the strategy you have in place will be fully, effectively, and efficiently implemented.
Right.
Before, when it is implemented, you see that your operations are going on well, and then it leads you to the improvements. So I
Right.
say, oh, so if I had not come, how am I going to get this?
You'd
And
be
now,
consumed about the strategy.
so much. Since all I know is
Yes.
strategy is the
No,
first thing. But this man dealt with me. He actually made me resonate with him and got me convinced that you need to look at the talent first. I
Yeah.
quickly linked it to what Jabasi said. So you need to look at the talent first, and if you get the right person on board with the right competences and skills, it means that that talent is going to well implement your strategy, and the strategy
Right.
will lead to effective operations, and the efficiency of the operation leads you to improvements in as an organization as a whole. That's
Right.
the aha moment for me. Then he
And
ended with a
when
simple,
you
he said,
right,
simple things make big difference. That
right.
statement is not as simple as it is. It actually went down me. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Christiana. Hey, I keep saying Madam. Thank you, Christiana.
you get the
By the end of this episode, I'll be good at this.
Oh, yes, you will.
All right. So, would you want to let's just move into the initiatives that came in mind during the conference? Some of the things that I'm sure some of you have already started implementing some of them or intend to implement them as soon as possible as a result of attending the conference.
yes, yes. So before I say the initiatives that I've brainstormed, I also want to first of all clarify that we've also learned from the program that you don't just think about these initiatives and slam them on the staff, but then you seek their opinions, you seek
Yeah,
their take
engagement.
on it. You see, what do you actually want? Oh, I think you need a gym. Boom. No, but these are thoughts which will be run by them. Okay, so Sanctuary Montessori started as a preschool, and we have grown up to the JHS and lower secondary level. And so at the preschool stage, our strategy has been that we are bringing the preschool closer to the home so that parents would not have to travel so far to send their kids to school. So we actually have 4 branches for the
Okay.
preschool in Takoradi. And because we are so much about strategy and we want to solve problems for people, um, we don't vacate. You get
Hmm.
it. Our staff, the kids at the preschool level don't go on vacation because, of
Wow.
course, when they go on vacation, what's going to happen to the working mother? What's going to happen to the working parents?
Mhm.
But then that is also on the side of the staff, it's a very stressful arrangement because then
Right.
apart from the leave periods that the staff is entitled to, you don't go on vacations like the primary JHS and lower secondary. And then for some, and you know, at the preschool, it's female dominated,
Mhm.
okay, because of the nurturing and all that. So what happens when I have kids who are on vacation, but I cannot be home with them and
Hmm.
I have to come to work?
Wow.
Okay. One of the things I have brainstormed is that we need to look at that. We are a school, so we should be able to have some form of arrangement to take care of um,
Your stuff.
teachers who are on vacation.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is one of the plans. a whole policy to take care of teachers' wards who are on vacation. You get it? Whilst the preschool is still in session. Because if you don't have someone taking care of your child at home, I don't think you would have the peace of mind to even teach or nurture someone else's child properly. So
Right.
that's things for wellness. And also I have also thought of, one of the speakers mentioned creating a culture of appreciation. So
Yeah.
that is another thing. We have an employee awards system that I am even thinking we should bring it down to a weekly thing where,
Right.
like banks do, maybe teacher of the week, staff of the week, give them that hype. And sometimes when the stakeholders like parents, um, suppliers and things is, oh, what's the teacher oh yeah zipa mate that teacher oh yeah zipa and things like that, it that alone is some form of it will make you feel, it will make the staff feel appreciated. You understand? So that is another, a culture of appreciation. And then
Right.
we have a school counselor that is for the learners. But from the meeting, I've also come to understand that the staff also have to be attended to in that light.
Right.
So women go through a lot. I mean, we have male teachers too who also go through a lot and all that. So if you have that kind of assistance around, that should also help them. Sometimes they come to work, you don't know what the person is going through. If the person, once again, is not in the right frame of mind, that person cannot give off his or her best. So I
Right.
think these are just one or two things I put down, and in addition to some of the things we are already doing. So I'm glad I came in. I'm glad I have these, and I will share the initiative with my team and see how best we can implement them, and also run a survey and see what they actually want as well. Yes, we can start from somewhere.
Right. Thank you for that. Those are excellent initiatives. I look forward to getting to know the outcome of these initiatives when they are implemented. Right. I see Josephine. Josephine is from Dodoa. She says, great discussion. I am learning a lot. Thanks, Sedat. I also see Godana. Godana says, good evening. Godana is from Kumasi joining us. Right. Keep sharing the link and get everyone join us with to learn from our dear speakers for today. Right, Madam
Hey,
Christiana.
Christy, let's go back and take it again.
Christy.
Let's mention
Right,
Christy.
right, Christy.
Yeah, thank
Let's
you.
hear you.
Thank you, thank you. Christy is the name. We will get there, don't worry. So it's great. It's great. A lot of initiatives to add to what I already have. Being in the sector and in practice HR for all this while, quite a number of the things were affirmed at the conference. So that tells me that I'm doing something good and I should continue. But that withstanding, I still have others that I have picked that we have to sit, that is situating in with what Kwame told us, that employee voice and employee engagement. So we
Right,
need to engage the employees, hear their voices because it is for them. We have to actually get what work for them, what will give them that motivation for us to hit the jackpot. That is how my people call it. If you meet your expectation, you have met the jackpot. So let's hear from you. What is going to give you that motivation for us to get hit the jackpot? And few ones that I picked, the first of it got to do with the employee um, assistance program, like I mentioned. We seriously need to engage a psychologist. Why am I saying this? We are into lending. And it is easy to give the money to people. When you have money, I always say, when you have money in your hand, you have 10 billion in your hand, even in your room, you will not know how people will hear of it and they will come for it. But when it is time for them to redeem it by paying back, you have to be chasing them to collect your own
Right.
money. And that puts a lot of stress on my people. So engaging psychologists with the EAP will give them room. Maybe if there should be some exercise movements, stress reliever, and counsel and training to give them how to release stress, I think it will help my team so well. So it's one area I have tipped. But yes, so we have to discuss it for them to appreciate it. Then we can go on to implement it for full participation of each and every staff. The next one I picked got to do with the work-life balance. The facilitator that spoke about the work-life balance actually made us know that we are doing it even without knowing that we are doing it, just that we have not placed a policy or we have not singled it out. Therefore, we don't even know that we are doing it. And she mentioned that that employee that will call the manager and say that, oh, my child was sick, so I took him to the hospital before, so I'll be late 1 hour. They all tie into the employee work-life balance. So I'm looking at engaging my team so that we can figure out some few areas that we can look at to implement that will not have much impacts on the operation, because we also heard the other part from our keynote speaker where they thought that giving 6 days or weeks or so to the people to go and rest, because of the long duration, they go engage themselves in other works, and that also gets them so fatigued, so much so that
Yeah.
when they come to work, they are unable to perform. But when they reduce it to 4, you see that it was working for them. So with this at the background, you have to engage them and see what exactly will work out. And we run the surveys to see the best way so we can actually have the work-life balance well situated, and people should work without having so much stress and knowing that, oh, if I need to take 2 hours, I can take 2 hours and still be efficient at my work. What matters is that what is required of me by close of day is delivered. And we look at that one. Then the third one I picked got to do with the birthday package. I
Right.
actually do birthday package, but the way he their own, they repackaged it, was so nice. Apparently, the new one was considering got to do with not having a party or a cake for the birthday staff or employee, but having a lunch with a person. And so during the lunchtime, you can engage the one and hear from the person. But I picked this one that I think will also do, because sometimes facing your employer, it's not that easy. So when you even show the person to them, it'll be very difficult for the one to speak. But I picked this one that you can have a parcel or package, and it will be delivered to the birthday celebrant, and that creates a whole atmosphere and a moment for the person. Somebody has not celebrated his or her birthday personally on his own before, probably
Right.
because of the background or not having knowledge of that. But if at the workplace a thing like that is done, you see that the one will say, "Oh wow, so I am so recognized and celebrated on my birthday." This alone goes a long way to motivate someone to give his or her best. So these are the initiatives I have picked out, and we'll discuss them and see how best we can implement them to the productivity of the organization.
Right. So have you already begun to look at how you'd be able to measure the effectiveness of these initiatives should they be implemented?
Yes, so we
All right.
have thought, from what I know already, there are 3 phases if you have to implement a project. You have the formulation stage, we have the implementation stage, then you have the evaluation stage, that is the feedback
Right.
session. So it means that if that's at the back of my mind, these things cannot be done without having the evaluation stage in place. If you don't evaluate, you might not know that it's not working. Like we've been told, you think that people need to exercise, so you're going to put a gym there, but no one is going there. So no one is attending to the gym. So you ask yourself, what I have done, is it actually serving the purpose? For that reason, there are stages we are going to evaluate all this one. Like the EAP like this, you should be asking the psychologist, how many people, let's say you have 30 staff on board, close of year, maybe the report should come, report that will not report on the exact issues the staff has discussed with the psychology, but how many people patronize the psychologist? That should tell you to continue with that program, or you should halt it. Or then you come back to the people again, have a discussion with them, and know the way forward. Then the work-life balance, you see how it's tailored into the productivity of them, and you're able to measure and measure well. The birthday package there, like you have all seen already. Everyone would love to be celebrated. Yes, so how to measure key in place. Oh, we can hear
Can
you.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Jessica, could you share with us the role of leadership in employee well-being?
Okay. So leadership plays a very key role because policies and everything starts from there. They are the implementers and all that. So for me, I think leadership, if leadership doesn't buy into the idea of employee well-being, they would not give the support that is needed. And like we have already emphasized, it's a priority. So if for example, we want to run an awards program for the staff, and leadership is not in favor of it, how are you going to fund it in the first place?
Right.
Um, how is it going to continue the consistency, and you're going to struggle. So leadership is very key in buying into the idea of employee well-being equating to productivity and profitability.
Mm.
And I think that that is why some of the speakers mentioned that it's important that the next time we invite the CEOs, the executives, and the
Right.
boss well too. In fact, when I was there, I was like, oh, I wish my boss came. This is so good.
Oh,
So I think it's leadership's role is undisputably key. Is very, very important.
right. So, Christiana, I'm sure there are a few leaders watching us now. So, what can you say to leaders? How can they become more supportive? How can they ensure that employee well-being is integrated into their organizations? What will you say to leaders out there watching us?
Right. You know, everything rises and falls on leadership. I always tell my team that when the fish, if the fish will spoil, it will start from the head, and the head is the leader.
Mm.
So employees don't leave organizations; they leave their leaders.
Wow.
All this is telling us that without the leaders' efficiency and well situated, you don't get the whole thing done. So
Mm.
leadership is very, very key. No organization can outlive the wisdom of its leadership.
Mm.
It is the knowledge of the leadership that is used to run the organization. So leaders will have to be intentional. They must prioritize the well-being of employees. If the thing will work, it will depend on where the leader sits and how he or she directs it. If it doesn't go well, be sure that that will not go well. So leaders must be intentional about employee well-being. They must prioritize it. They must also ensure that they engage the voices of the people they are leading.
Mm.
If they don't hear or engage the voices of the people they are leading, you will fall in the ditch.
Mm.
That policy might not work because the leader is not the implementer of the policy. The leader is the one that provides direction and guidance to the people that will practically implement the policy. So you need to hear from the people. As a leader, leaders must have listening ear. They must listen more than they instruct or direct. So hearing from your people, that gives you a headwind, a guidance on how to lead them for success to be achieved. All I seek to say is that leadership is keen in every decision that is taken. And for the leader to be successful, as a leader, you must be a good listener. You must engage the voices of the people you are leading, and you must prioritize and be intentional about their well-being.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a big one. I hope every leader out there is picking this, taking this away. And you would literally almost every leader has the workforce that they require. And it's more about now being intentional about your workforce. And she made mention of listening to them. Now, when you are intentional about your workforce, you are able to realize sometimes the issue might be about the role. Maybe you've placed the right talent at the wrong role. But when you begin to be intentional about your workforce, you put things in place to ensure that they are performing the exact tasks that they have the capacity for. And in that means you realize that your organization is moving forward and upward. Right, so we are wrapping up. I want us to just briefly share a few words, maybe our last words to our audience. So Jessica, guys, I got this. I said Jessica.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. Um, my last words is that the next time you hear of a Sedat conference, register quickly, speedily, and take part in it because the conferences are carefully curated for us. Um, you can't be a champion in your small corner, but when you come, you get the opportunity to hear from seasoned people in the industry, and then you come implement it. You also get the opportunity to network and form connections with people like Christiana that are doing great and wonderful things. And who knows, you grow and grow and grow. And I want to send a shout out to my friend Yvonne Asamoah. In fact, she made me register. She got the flyer and she said, Jessica, we have to go to this conference. And later on, Pax came to my office and came to invite me personally. So I think that hi Yvonne, thank you for linking me up. It was a blessing attending this program. So everyone out there, get in touch with Sedat and also be informed as we have been informed, and we are going to do wonderful things in our various establishments.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Hi Yvonne. Thank you for inviting Jessica. All right,
Yeah.
Christiana.
All right. All too soon. This
All too
interesting
soon.
conversation is coming to an end. But I want to all HR fraternity, the HR body, I mean, I really want to recommend Sadat HR conference to not only HR people, employers, or employees, but even people who are not into HR. Staff can register and attend. I bet you have something in there to pick for yourself. You can even gain a business idea from this conference. A lot that when I reflect on the things that we have learned there from the facilitators, a lot is what is going through my mind. So I want to recommend to everyone in his or her capacity, whoever you are, book the next conference and be sure that you will never regret it, because the indelible memory they have left on us is going to go a long way to benefit our staff, everybody around us, the organization, and all people that will communicate or have a chat with us in one way or the other in respect to these areas that we have picked from our astute facilitators. It was great. And I bless God I was there.
Yeah.
I want to send a shout out to my team, Dad Microcredit Limited, the best team ever. I I want to thank you so much for the opportunity, because when I'm out there and they are not in position, it will be very difficult for the work to go on. But this team is so keen and know what they are about. So I had the opportunity to attend the conference, learn more, and to impact each and every one. I also want to send a shout out to Cicho HR Consults. Kudos for the great work. Family and friends. CEO, not forgetting the CEO of Sedat Consults. Supernatural, you are so amazing.
Thank
How
you.
you even approach that. So, can we have a conversation? It's so inspiring.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
the opportunity to share the little we have with others that are ready to listen to us. The contextual is great. Keep it up with this innovation, and we are
Thank
proud.
you.
I am highly proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you so much, Christiana, for joining us today and sharing your beautiful and amazing insights from the session. Thank you to everyone watching us. We had Christiana start booking. Our next conference is going to be in September at Kumasi, so get ready for it. Start making preparations that September you are going to be at our conference, right? We'll see you in our next episode coming Sunday, 4 p.m. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.